There's been a non-stop stream of stories of crimes and lawlessness from Uttar Pradesh on TV. India Today has now been able to access a video that exposes the example being set by Uttar Pradesh's ruling party. This video is from Moradabad and it shows a ruling Samajwadi Party leader indulging in the most brazen gun culture. Firing pistols in the air to celebrate an event, the man brandishing the weapon is local Samajwadi Party leader Atul Bishnoi. He's firing continuously in the air as he revels in his party's support to a local welfare department officer, his boss, who managed to get a lal batti. That's why this local leader broke into celebrations.
महबूब नेता माननीय मुलायम सिंह यादव जी ने हाजी इकराम कुरैशी साहब को लाल बत्ती से नवाजा है और प्रत्येक कार्यकर्ता का सम्मान बढ़ाया है। मैं अपने महबूब लीडर माननीय मुलायम सिंह यादव जी का हर दिल अजीज अखिलेश यादव जी का तहे दिल से शुक्रगुजार करता हूं।
Is gun culture Samajwad? Does a lal batti mean the license to break laws? To talk more about Akhilesh's lawless army, I am joined by Gaurav Bhatia, leader of the Samajwadi Party. Now, you've got a SP leader, Hakim Ikram Qureshi, who's made advisor of the Social Welfare Department in Moradabad. And we've shown images of how Samajwadi Party workers start celebrating. Is gun culture Samajwad, Gaurav?
I saw the video and I think it is very shameful that any person should brandish a gun and do what the person was doing. And we condemn this act. I heard Mr. Qureshi speak on the subject and he made it clear that the person who was actually brandishing a gun is not his supporter. And I would just say that a Samajwadi Party worker is one. For example, I'll tell you that an army of around 50 youth Samajwadi workers had visited Nepal and they served the persons who were suffering during the earthquake. We would identify our party with those workers who are dedicated.
No, that may be true, but this is not a one-off instance, Gaurav. Time and again, images have emerged of how Samajwadi Party workers have broken the law. Now, very conveniently, you say that the person who's firing this pistol is not a Samajwadi Party worker. It's happening at an SP function. There are SP leaders who are celebrating along with their supporters. That's where this happened. This didn't happen at a Congress function or a Mayawati function or at a BJP function. It happened at an SP event. Look at the manner in which they're celebrating. SP posters can be seen at the back, even on the images that we have on our screen right now, Gaurav.
Rahul, I am not for a moment saying that he has nothing to do with the Samajwadi Party. What I am saying is that there are millions of Samajwadi Party workers who are working hard to actually serve the society and common man, and then we see a person who does such an act which actually ashames everybody. But the party in the past also, when noticed that there are persons who are misusing the party flag symbol, we issued a circular stating that nobody would be allowed to use a flag on his vehicle, and that has been a deterrence. When it comes to taking
no, but Gaurav, you began this broadcast by saying that this person has nothing to do with the Samajwadi Party. The fact is that this is the person in the image firing that pistol is former
Rahul,
district treasurer of the Samajwadi Party. His name is Atul Bishnoi. He is with the Samajwadi Party. You cannot dispute it. I want to know what action do you intend to take and why are you telling our people you don't know who he is?
Yes. No, Rahul, please don't misunderstand me. I was telling you about what Mr. Qureshi said, that Mr. Qureshi in his statement was saying he has taken some disciplinary action against this person, and to sully the image of Mr. Qureshi, he is doing such an act. The moment this came to our notice, the district administration has also taken cognizance of it, and the needful will be done. All I'm trying to say is
what is the needful? One second. What according to you, Gaurav, is the needful? what action do you take that sends a deterrent message, not just to Atul Bishnoi, but others who think, like Atul, that they can get away by brandishing this gun culture?
Yes. There would be twofold action. One, as per law, which I have told you that the district administration would look into. And second is ensuring that every party worker is disciplined and does not do such an act, because I think it is completely condemnable that any Samajwadi Party worker does such an act. So the party will look into that also. But just let me say this, Rahul, that there are many good workers who are working day and night to serve the people. And yes, if it comes to our notice that there is a person who is brandishing a gun, we don't welcome that. We are condemning and we will take action against such a person.
Well, I wait to see what action is taken
incident very seriously.
And how much of an example is made of people like Atul Bishnoi. Because if you just come on TV and say that we will act and then not follow that up with tough action, then leaders like Atul Bishnoi
Rahul, you are aware, in the past also
emboldened.
there have been many incidents.
Okay. Yeah, but that doesn't stop the next incident. That doesn't stop the next incident. Such incidents still happen, and most of them tend to come from Uttar Pradesh. But I'm glad that you're saying that action will be taken. I look forward to seeing the Samajwadi Party and Akhilesh follow this talk up with action. Gaurav Bhatia for joining us on the newsroom tonight. Thank you. We've got breaking news now coming in that the soon-to-be declassified files on the mysterious disappearance of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose could help crack one of the biggest mysteries of modern Indian history. What happened to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose? India today has been able to get exclusive access to the contents of those letters, which show that British and American intelligence agencies suspected that he did not die in the 1945 plane crash in Taipei. For more on this story, I'm now joined by India Today's correspondent from Kolkata, Indrajit Kundu. This would be huge when it is officially confirmed come Friday that the Bengal government has documents to show that the British and the American governments didn't believe that Netaji died in that plane crash.
Well, that's right, Rahul. You know, what we are learning from our sources right now is that there are 64 files which are now going to be declassified and put into public domain. Now, what we are learning from our sources is that the biggest point that comes out from all these 64 files is the fact that that the government of the day during that time had the knowledge that British and US intelligence authorities were of the view that Netaji did not perish in the plane crash in Tahugu. That's the theory that the Indian government so far has been claiming to be its official position as far as Netaji's disappearance is concerned. Two inquiry reports, the Shahnawaz committee as well as the Khosla committee, these two reports clearly stated that Netaji died in the plane crash, and the governments of the day during that report did accept those two reports. However, the Mukherjee Commission report, which the government did not accept, of course, said otherwise. Now these documents reveal that there was intelligence inputs from the British as well as the US intelligence agencies, which clearly believed that Netaji could have been alive during that period. They did not believe, from whatever investigation these agencies did, that there was conclusive proof about any plane crash or Netaji's death in Taipei. So very crucial point that is coming in from these 64 files that will now be put into public domain on Friday.
Okay, I'm going to leave it over there. Indrajit Kundu managing to get access to the content of the Netaji files. Very interesting there. The West Bengal government files show that Netaji may not have died in 1945 in that Taipei plane crash, which is what Subhash Chandra Bose's family has been claiming for decades now. There is mounting pressure on Prime Minister Narendra Modi to declassify the central files as well. Remember, the government says there will be a deleterious impact on relations with friendly countries like the US and the UK, which is why they're not making these documents public. But Mamata Banerjee says people have the right to know. Will Narendra Modi also use that same logic? Let me quickly get you all the other big news headlines that have made it to the newsroom tonight. Discontent is brewing in the BJP's Bihar unit after the party came out with the first list of candidates who were denied tickets. These candidates have met Chief Minister and Janata Dal leader Nitish Kumar. The sitting MLA from Gurura, Surendra Sinha too, has rebelled because he didn't get a ticket. The Tamil Nadu Assembly has adopted a resolution seeking international probe against Sri Lanka on alleged war crimes. This comes on a day when the United Nations called for a special court to try war crimes committed during the Sri Lankan army's long conflict with the Tamil Tigers. Saina Nehwal met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Delhi today. The Prime Minister congratulated Saina on her recent success in the World Championships. Nehwal gifted Narendra Modi a badminton racket for his birthday tomorrow. A trainee police constable jumped off a 15-feet-high bridge when a devotee attending the Kumbh Mela in Nasik tried to kill himself by jumping into the waters of the river Godavari. The entire incident was caught on security camera. The man who tried to kill himself was pulled out of the water safely. The External Affairs Ministry says it's trying to secure the release of 2 Indians reportedly abducted in Libya. The government said that the Indian mission in Tripoli has taken up the issue with local authorities at the diplomatic level. I now come to an India Today investigation, a story of the sort that you wouldn't have heard of. Usually, courts function when there are judges. Orders are passed by a presiding magistrate. But there's a court in Ghaziabad that has supposedly been passing orders extending remand for an accused without a judge present. How is that even possible? My colleague Vishwas Kumar with this India Today exclusive.
It was the Ghaziabad court that convicted Rajesh and Nupur Talwar for the murder of their daughter Arushi. But an India Today investigation has revealed that there's much more to the Ghaziabad court than these high-profile cases. It's a ghost court that's extending remands without a judge being present. The additional Chief Judicial Magistrate Court No. 2 extended the judicial remand of a software engineer named Naveen Kumar on 21st July 2015. The remand was extended till 3rd September. However, judicial records show that the court of ACJM2 was vacant on 21st July and remains vacant till today. The court fell vacant on 22nd July 2015 after Allahabad High Court issued a notification of transfer and posting of judicial officials at the Ghaziabad High Court. The cause list of ACJM2, prepared on 21st July, also lists the court as vacant. The court records also reveal that ACJM1, Ram Karan Yadav, was looking after the work of ACJM2 on 21st July 2015. But official signature of Ram Karan Yadav on court documents appear to be different from the remand order signed on 21st July. So who extended Naveen Kumar's remand then? Naveen Kumar has now filed a petition in Allahabad High Court levelling charges of illegal detention by fraudulent extension of his remand. The matter comes up for hearing on 22nd September. Till then, the mystery of Ghaziabad's ghost court will continue to haunt. With Vishwas Kumar in Ghaziabad, Bureau Report, India Today.
How is this even possible? A court passing orders without a judge being present? Vishwas Kumar, who brought us that story, is joining us. Also my colleague Vinay Tiwari. Vinay, you look at the judicial system in India very carefully. How can this get away? How does this happen without somebody finding out that you've got a court which is functioning without a judge?
That's right, and I think this is perhaps the first time that we're hearing of something like this, at least in public, where a person has actually chosen to go on to the High Court and say that the illegal detention that he is in is one of the reasons, out of the 4 reasons that he gives. One of them is that this order of extension of remand actually was given by somebody who doesn't exist. The documents he suggested, submitted in the court clearly suggest that that court was vacant. There is no doubt about that. The cause list very clearly says this court is vacant. Somebody has signed it, and I think this habeas corpus petition is now a fit ground for investigation whether there are more such cases that perhaps exist like this, where somebody impersonating as a judge and taking advantage of a vacant court is busy signing away remand extensions or even application demands in favor of the accused in return for some consideration.
So you went, Kumar, to the Ghaziabad court. Yeah. Now, how is it that for so long nobody is found out, and it's because somebody's now gone to the High Court in this petition that people have found out that there's supposedly a court which is functioning without a judge?
See, I will just give you the background how this found out. It was just accidentally that lawyer stumbled upon. Actually, because the earlier the same court had passed on remand when the judge was there. So when the next remand came, So he just went home. He was like, okay, remand is fine. So when he just was looking at the thing, he saw the signature is not there. So he just thought, how it is possible? This court is vacant, and the judge who has passed order, now who was acting, looking after the same court has not.
So what happens in this case, Vinay? Now you've got clearly a situation where you've got orders being passed without a judge being in, sitting, presiding over what's happening. Who steps in? What happens next?
See, because he's filed a habeas corpus, and I think for viewers it's important to explain what habeas corpus is. Habeas corpus is a petition which literally means that a person is complaining that he's under illegal detention, that he's not legally supposed to be arrested or detained in this case. And because he's now made this point, the High Court now very easily now order an investigation because the very judicial process has been challenged, Rahul. I think it's very important to understand that he's challenging the process of a lower court on the basis of fraud. He's pretty much saying that my detention has been enhanced by a process of fraud. High courts can now step in and clearly and very obviously issue an order which actually investigates whether this order was indeed passed by that magistrate who is supposed to be in charge of the court or not. Ordinarily in such situations, the court sometimes transfer cases to another court, but in this case it doesn't seem to have happened because the signatures, as his lawyer pointed out, the accused lawyer, don't really match the other court, the judge manning the other court who was handling the case. So clearly there seems to be some gap here, and I think the High Court can easily step in and order approval.
Because this is indeed the kind of story that you don't hear about very often.
Yeah, exactly. This is even when I first heard, I was like, I couldn't believe it. So I had to find out all the documents, see the document, court document, this document, everything. And finally, even I have to go to the court and see everything is fine and proper, the court is vacant. So it was.
So you went to court and you found there's no judge there.
Yeah, exactly.
Even now there's no judge.
No judge at all. So it was actually for me, I have also covered court for long period, and it was like absolutely shocking me. And even I've asked the lawyers, whenever nobody believed why somebody is doing.
And since this is a matter dealing with the court, we're being very careful in what we are putting out, but this raises very, very serious questions about the functioning of this particular court and how something like this can happen without somebody raising a big sting. Thank you very much, Vishwas, for that story. Thank you, Vinay, for joining us with your analysis. We will, of course, keep tracking very carefully what happens to this petition in court. Vinay and Vishwas, thank you very much for joining us on the newsroom. We'll keep following up on this story because usually with investigations, you get this sense that you've heard this earlier or you know about this, but this is probably something you've never heard about earlier. A court functioning without a judge. Let's now shift our attention to a big story coming in from Maharashtra, where the Fadnavis government has done a thakre by saying that starting soon, no auto wala will get a license unless he knows how to speak Marathi. Now 70% of the auto walas in Mumbai are non-Marathi speakers. Why then, and right before the Bihar polls, is the BJP government in Maharashtra trying to do something which the people from UP and Bihar will find so unacceptable? Our Mumbai bureau files this report.
Maharashtra government's Marathi-only diktat for auto permit in Mumbai has sparked a row. Over 1 lakh fresh permits in Mumbai will now be decided on applicants' knowledge of Marathi and local roots.
तो कानून ही कहता है कि जिस राज्य में आप व्यवसाय करते हो उस राज्य की भाषा अवगत करना, इसलिए कोई आईएएस ऑफिसर भी आता है उस पे कंपल्शन है कि वो उस राज्य की भाषा सीखे.
महाराष्ट्रात रिक्षा चालवणाऱ्या प्रत्येकाला मराठी आलं पाहिजे हे बंधन आहे.
The language card has left the local auto drivers a perplexed lot, as many fear their Marathi skills will now be put to test.
अभी जो परमिट इशू किया है बोलते हैं कि मतलब जो परीक्षा दे पाएगा उसी को परमिट, मराठी में जो परीक्षा दे पाएगा उसी को परमिट इशू होगा. उनको ये मालूम है कि यूपी बिहार वाले परमिट परीक्षा दे नहीं पाएंगे मराठी में, इसलिए उनको परमिट नहीं दिया जाए.
हमको लैंग्वेज से मतलब हमको बॉम्बे का टॉपोग्राफी बरोबर मालूमात होना चाहिए सर.
Opposition Congress and NCP were quick to slam the move, while being careful not to hurt Marathi sentiments. In poll-bound Bihar, BJP's political rivals took dig at the Fadnavis government. A large number of auto and taxi drivers in Mumbai are from Bihar.
ये बीजेपी का दोगलापन चरित्र देखो, देश की सरकार जिससे मिलकर काम करता, ये फरमान जारी क्या?
The Marathi card in auto permits comes in the run-up to the Mumbai civic polls slated for early 2017.
The Marathi card comes ahead of the Mumbai civic polls, while the opposition parties are saying auto drivers should be encouraged to speak local language, but they should not be forced. the BJP and Sena government is saying that even IAS officers who are posted in Maharashtra speak in Marathi. With camera person Raju Revankar, Mustafa Sheikh, Mumbai for India Today.
I want to go across now to Shaina NC, spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party. She's joining us on this broadcast from Mumbai. Shaina, Article 19 of the Indian Constitution guarantees, and I want to read out to you, all citizens shall have the right to move freely throughout the country of India. Article 15 says that there will be no discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. And now suddenly you've got young Devendra Fadnavis in Maharashtra trying to outdo the Thakres. What's going on?
First, I hadn't been able to hear your package at all, so I think you need to reiterate the question. Having said that, if it is about the auto rickshaws, let me please say this is an independent decision of a Shiv Sena Minister of Transport, Mr. Raute, where he has said that the auto rickshaw drivers need to prove their domicile, that they live in the
Shaina, what does independent decision mean? One second. Are you saying that Devendra Fadnavis and the BJP don't sign off on this? There is the concept of collective responsibility. Governments in a democracy function on the basis of collective responsibility. Now, first answer my question, Shaina. What does a decision of a Shiv Sena minister mean?
But if you listen to a view in totality, then you will get a perspective, Rahul, before screaming your voice hoarse and suggesting as if we have done something wrong. To suggest that the basic commuter must be in a position to speak in the local language, I don't think is something that is such a big hue and cry needs to be raised. And they're not saying that you cannot speak another language. They're saying that you must know the basic language if you are providing
No, Shaina, you're not answering my question. You began this broadcast by saying, Shaina, you began this broadcast by...
I think that it's imperative to understand where we're coming from.
Shaina, hear me please. You began this broadcast by saying it's an independent decision taken by a Shiv Sena minister. I am baffled that you say it, because democracies function on the principle of collective responsibility. Are you saying that the BJP doesn't agree with this decision?
The minister is... No, I'm not. I'm saying that it is a decision of Mr. Raute, who belongs to the Shiv Sena, and as transport minister, he is entitled to take this decision. What does the decision suggest? It only suggests that if there is a service provider that is providing a service in the state of Maharashtra, should know the local language.
No, I'm sorry.
For most of us who live in Maharashtra know Marathi. I don't think there is any big hue and cry that needs to be raised out of an
Shaina,
issue such
the
as
profile
this.
of Maharashtra and the profile of Mumbai also is changing. 70% of the autowalas in Mumbai, 70% according to a local figure, are non-Marathi speakers. There are people from Bihar, there are people from UP, there are people from elsewhere. Now, obviously, all of them will be grievously disadvantaged as a consequence of this decision by the Fadnavis government. You can't take it, it's constitutionally incorrect.
But the Can I reply now?
You must, Shaina.
There is no suggestion to say that an auto rickshaw driver from any part of the country is not welcome in the city of Mumbai or in the state of Maharashtra. They're very well welcome. But knowing the basic language is something that which encourages the Marathi speaking electorate and as well as the consumer who is availing of this facility needs to be in a position to feel that sense of comfort as well. I don't think it's something that one would not expect if one went to Gujarat and expect an auto driver there to speak Gujarati. What is the big deal?
No, because that's not the only conditionality. That's not the only conditionality, Shaina. Shaina, the other condition is that you have to have residence for 15 years. 15 years in Maharashtra. Let's just cut through the hypocrisy. The reality is you don't want UP people, you don't want Biharis in Mumbai driving auto rickshaws. It's as simple as that. That's the message that you're trying to send. You're trying to make it difficult for them to get a license.
1 minute. Are you suggesting... No, that is not true. Are you suggesting that the auto rickshaw drivers who already exist in Mumbai have not resided in the state for over 15 years?
Many of them may not have. Many of them may be new immigrants. Several people come from UP, several people come from Bihar. They may not know Marathi initially. They may not know Marathi initially, Shaina.
We are not playing a divide and rule. We are encouraging. Who is talking about knowing a language fluently? So many of us who come from many multicultural backgrounds still speak Marathi because we live in Maharashtra. I don't think there's anything that is so out of the ordinary or something that needs to shock someone to suggest that if there is a consumer being provided a service, that service provider should also know the local language. It's not something which is so outrageous.
No, because this is first with auto rickshaws. The Shiv Sena transport minister of your government said he'll extend this to taxis as well. Tomorrow you will say if you want to work in a private bank because you're dealing with customers, you must show a certificate that you know Marathi. Where does this stop? You can extend this logic.
You're playing a hypothetical argument, and that argument can not be addressed at this juncture. If one talks about philosophy to encourage the local language, I think there's nothing wrong with it. You can belong to any part of the country. You can reside here for a few months or for a few years or for generations. If you speak the local language, I don't think there's any hindrance. It's not to suggest you cannot speak Hindi or you should not speak English. You can speak all languages. But I think, every time the media tries to play this, oh, the Devendra Fadnavis government, oh, the BJP government, it does a disservice, because without getting into the facts and the gory details of situations and where situations are rising from, I think it's extremely judgmental to pass a verdict.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there, Shaina. Devendra Fadnavis was sworn in with a lot of hope. So far, his government has spent time trying to impose meat bans, trying to prevent non-Marathi speakers from getting auto licenses. This is not what the government should be wasting its time on. There's a full-fledged farmer crisis in Marathwada. That really is what should be taking up his time. He should be in Marathwada trying to deal with the crisis, the agrarian crisis that's crippling farmers over there, instead of wasting his time with non-issues. I'm going to leave it there.